The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your SuperChats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
The Derek Carr injury could directly impact the Jets when they're on the clock in 12 days. We'll tell you how, plus some exciting news to share. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started. Man, our Jets are primed to win another offseason, baby.
If I wanted this job, put your seatbelts on and get ready for the ride, and I'm ready for it. It's all about the Jets. This is bigger than me. I look forward to this. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
We bleed Jets green each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Kings of the offseason, baby. This is what we do. At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Brees Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super Chats, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinn Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show. Here we go, here on a Saturday. Did you think I wouldn't do a show? I did 4 hours of national radio on Mad Dog Sports Radio, and I said, you know what? I'm not done. We're doing more here on YouTube, and sometimes when you're hosting on the radio, the Asmaniacs come to you, like when I took a call today from a guy by the name of Charles in New Jersey. That was Charles Gorman who called into the show. And, well, Charles asked me if I think the Jets would take Shedeur Sanders if he's there at 7. And in the middle of my answer to his question, this happened.
But I'd be very surprised if the Jets took Shedeur Sanders, Charles. I would.
That's it. Thank you.
What are you doing, Charles? What are you,
I'm at Friendly's right now. I'm at Touch and having lunch.
You're at
lunch, I should say.
You're at Friendly's?
Yes, I am by myself.
Wow, you're having a solo meal at Friendly's and giving us a call on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. What an honor, Charles.
Thank you, Jake. Also, speaking of Mike Tirico, I've been a fan of his since he used to announce Monday Night Football games on ESPN. He's a great broadcaster.
Tremendous broadcaster. Just maybe as tremendous as your meal at Friendly's. What are you having?
Well, I just had a quesadilla. Now I'm having a ultimate cookies and cream sundae with M&Ms inside.
No way. Are you serious? That sounds amazing.
It is amazing, yes.
That's a lot of calories, though, Charles. You worried about that?
I'll get over it eventually.
Yeah, you know,
Anyways,
you got to live your life. You know, you got to go out there and enjoy a nice Saturday.
Same here. The weather's been terrible. You said in Georgia, the state, the weather's beautiful there?
Well, it's where the Masters is, of course.
Well, the weather here in New Jersey is terrible.
I'm based in New York, Charles. The weather in New York is terrible, too.
Anyway, it's good talking with you, buddy.
What a call from Charles Gorman. What a call. Unreal. Oh, my goodness. So, yes, I'm doing a Saturday show. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Appreciate all of you who tune in on the radio. So I did want to start with this before we talk about the Saints, Derek Carr, and how I think the Jets could be involved. I want to thank Joe Caparoso and Connor Rogers for inviting me to be a part of their Badlands live podcast. They had 200-something Jet fans in the room last night. It was at a bar in New York City near Times Square. Got to do a 20, 25-minute segment with Joe and Connor. It was a lot of fun. So I want to thank them and the entire Badlands team for having me out there. Will Parkinson, PK, the entire team. They were great. It was a lot of fun, and it was good to see a ton of Asmaniacs in the house, including some OG Asmaniacs. Nate, Jay Quest, finally met Johnny Boy in person, and, of course, our guy Snowball as well. So shout out to all the Asmaniacs I met last night. A ton of you could not have been nicer, so it was so cool to connect and talk Jets and be in that type of environment. Our next big environment to be at, Jet fans, come to our draft party with Fireman Ed. It is 12 days from now. We still have a few tickets left, so go quickly. Click the link in the description, lock in your spot, and you can join me, a bunch of diehard Asmaniacs, diehard Jet fans, as we root on the New York Jets all together. Ladies and gentlemen, the Saints have a quarterback problem. Derek Carr might miss the entire season. At least that was the report yesterday. And I believe that the New York Jets could potentially parlay the Derek Carr injury into a scenario where maybe the Jets could find a way to pull off a trade with the Saints. Now, let me try and explain and outline what I'm specifically talking about here. The New Orleans Saints now need a quarterback. Now, I would argue even with Carr, they still needed the quarterback. But now without him, I think they definitely, without question, need a quarterback. Derek Carr, we know what he is. He's not very good. Derek Carr is a guy that, on his best day, is probably, a top 15 quarterback? They're not winning big with Derek Carr. They're not. But now with him being out for what could be the season, you know the betting favorite right now for New Orleans at number 9 is Shedeur Sanders. Minus 130. Shedeur the favorite to be picked by the Saints. And I bring that up for this reason. What if there's another team out there that also really likes Shedeur Sanders? We saw last year the Jets were able to use the fact that the Vikings wanted to make sure they got their quarterback. And the Jets were able to get an extra pick for doing nothing other than, hey, let's just move back from 10 to 11. Minnesota came up. They were able to take J.J. McCarthy, and the Jets still got the guy they wanted anyway in Olu Fashanu to play left tackle. What if this year the Saints are worried about someone jumping in front of them now because they need a quarterback? They want Shedeur. Would they call the Jets up and offer the Jets a mid-round pick and a pick swap, or if they give you a third to move up 2 spots, guarantee they get Shedeur? Are they concerned about Pittsburgh coming all the way up, especially now at this point? Aaron Rodgers still hasn't signed there. I think he will, but I just think this now potentially opens the door for a trade back. For the Jets to potentially get a couple extra picks for really not having to do a whole lot. Like, I think the Jets could still get the same exact player they would want at 7, once again at 9. Carolina's picking right after the Jets. It feels like they're kind of locked in on defense. I don't think they would take the tackle the Jets want. I don't think they would take Tyler Warren in that spot. I mean, you never know. But I do see a scenario where, maybe it is a trade for the Jets. And it doesn't even necessarily need to be, once again, the New Orleans Saints. But I bring up the Saints for this reason. Carolina is picking at 8, right? Carolina's in the same division as New Orleans. So if New Orleans now, desperate to get a quarterback because of the Derek Carr injury, wants to move up, they can't make a deal with a division rival. They'd have to call the Jets, who are 2 spots in front of them. New Orleans is at 9. Carolina is 8. The Jets being at 7. You might be able to get some sort of 3rd-round pick in exchange for maybe a 5th-round pick. And then maybe like a throw-in pick as well. I just think this gives you the potential for a trade back. The potential for it. Not saying it's going to happen. Still probably unlikely. But my first thought was, hey, maybe this could open the door a little bit. Because the way it's shaking out right now, I don't think we're getting a quarterback outside of Cam Ward in the first 6 picks. I think Shedeur is going to be there at 7. And you have a desperate Saints team now behind the New York Jets that need to be aggressive to get their guy, you would think. Right? Because there's no way the quarterback they want to go into week 1 with is on their team right now. I don't buy it. Spencer Rattler. Ben DiNucci is on the depth chart. I think I saw it today. I think Shedeur Sanders is going to be there at 7. And I think if the Jets could play their hand right, they can maybe get a team that's willing to come up. And I don't know necessarily what that trade will look like. It's every year is different. But extra picks is better than not having extra picks if you're still able to get the same player you were going to take at 7 anyway. And then there's going to be the question, well, should the Jets just take Shedeur Sanders? And I get it to those who might like him. I don't believe in Shedeur Sanders as a franchise quarterback. I think his ceiling, and I said this today on the radio, to me, he's way more of the Kirk Cousins, Andy Dalton type of player, where at their best, you can win games with that guy. He can win in the pocket. but he's not special enough, I believe, to really consistently compete for a Super Bowl with. Like, you could be good at best. You're never going to be great. I don't see it. I don't see special when I watch Shedeur Sanders. I don't see the elite athleticism. People could say, well, what about Joe Burrow? But, like, that to me is a rarity. And Burrow was way more impactful in college than Shedeur. And I get it. Burrow played on a better team. But I don't know. I watch Shedeur and then Joe Burrow. I don't see the comp. People have tried to make that comp to me. I don't see that at all. I mean, I see a pocket quarterback that, like, can run your offense. It's tough. But he's not special. People assume that because his last name is Sanders, he's a freak athlete like his dad was. Shedeur is not that type of player. He's not that fast. There's a reason why he didn't run the 40 at his combine. He doesn't want teams to know how fast he is because he's not fast. Now, he's faster than probably everyone watching the show right now. But relative to, like, the great athletes in this draft, he's not that. He's not Cam Ward. In fact, Jackson Dart is probably a better athlete than Shedeur is. Now, I do think Shedeur is better than Dart. So I do think the Saints would take Sanders. I know there's been some thought, hey, maybe they could take Jackson Dart, but I look at it like this. There might be more of a window now for the New York Jets to get a deal done. And even if New Orleans is pretty confident that Shedeur Sanders would be there at 9 for them, right? You can't be for sure. Like, if the Jets say, hey, New Orleans, let's look at your picks. You want to come up. Shedeur's there at 7. He's your guy. You want to make sure no one, jumps in front of you. Because remember, we saw this a couple of years ago from a Jet perspective too. The Steelers and the Patriots cut a deal so New England would move back and Pittsburgh would come up in order to get the player they thought the Jets were going to take, Broderick Jones, to be the tackle, right? And then the Jets went out there, and then they took Will McDonald. And in hindsight, it ended up being, the right pick as far as if it's between McDonald or Jones, because Jones hasn't been good, and Will McDonald, looks like he's becoming, at least at the bare minimum, a solid, NFL player. Had 10 sacks this past year, right? But I bring that example up because if you remember, the Steelers cut a deal with New England, and New England was like, we got to stick it to the Jets, right? Well, now you look at where New Orleans is picking. And I already brought up the fact that the Carolina Panthers are at 8. What if there's another team out there that's trying to get Shedeur? Carolina's going to be working the phones to make sure that that team can come up and then take the quarterback so the team in their own division doesn't get the quarterback, right? Could try and keep the potential for a new franchise quarterback out of their division. Now, maybe Carolina's like, we don't think Shedeur's any good, so great, we want you to take it. But I don't think that would be the case. I think for New Orleans to just secure, hey, we're going to get our guy. If their guy is Shedeur now at 9, and he's the betting favorite. Well, the reason why I'm talking about this is he is now the betting favorite, minus odds to go there. So if we operate under that premise, that he's now minus odds to be their quarterback, which makes him the favorite, then when you want to make sure you get him and not mess around, and I just looked at how many picks the Saints have. They have a decent amount of picks. They got pick 40 in the second round. You wouldn't get that for 2 spots, but they have pick 71 in the third round. They have pick 93 in the third round as well. They have 2 third-round picks. They have 2 fourth-round picks, pick 112 and 131. If they offered the Jets one of their thirds, say it's pick 93. If you're the Jets, you wouldn't move back 2 spots, get an extra top 100 pick. You'd have now 4 picks in the top 93. That to me would be worth it. That's how you could kind of navigate the board. So this is me simply just kind of presenting a scenario where maybe there's a pathway to it, right? Didn't feel realistic before this news, but I think it is a little bit now. Because typically quarterbacks kind of create these type of trades. And we saw it last year. The Jets were a part of one with Minnesota. Moved up 1 spot to get J.J. McCarthy. So I don't think you're going to get a ton if New Orleans went from 9 to 7. But how you could get a ton is what if Pittsburgh identified Shedeur Sanders as their guy? And now it feels like, okay, New Orleans is going to take their guy before Pittsburgh could hope that Shedeur could fall to them at 21. Because really, once you get past New Orleans, right? That's why I think the floor for Shedeur now is at 9. Because once you get past New Orleans, which team is now taking a quarterback potentially before the Steelers do it. It's hard to find that team. I went through this exercise once again on Mad Dog Radio earlier. After New Orleans, you tell me which team's taking Shedeur Sanders. Chicago, no. San Fran, no. Dallas, no. Miami, no. Indy, I mean, I don't think they're ready to give up on Anthony Richardson already. No. Atlanta, no. Arizona, no. Cincinnati, no. Seattle, I mean, they just gave Darnold all that money. I know it's technically just a one-year commitment, but no. Tampa, no. Denver, no. I mean, the next team is really Pittsburgh at 21. Even if they sign Rodgers, they still need a quarterback. And don't you think Shedeur Sanders with Tomlin's a good fit? He could reel him in. He can handle personalities. Like, that's what Mike Tomlin does. No one knew Antonio Brown was nuts until he left the Steelers. Tomlin's very good at handling personalities and egos and getting guys to buy in. So I think there's something to that. So maybe, hey, Steelers are like, well, crap, we were just hoping he'd fall to us. Now we're not sure. Maybe they would make that move. I don't know, but that's the dream, because then you're talking about getting maybe a first next year, which, if you've been following the show, while we're all rooting for Justin Fields to be the guy, if he's not the guy and you got to tap into the quarterback class in 2026, having an extra one to use to potentially move up could be huge. Could be huge. Just like I thought it was smart when Joe Douglas got an extra third-round pick in last year's draft. And I said at the time on the show, that's probably going to be used in the Devontae Adams trade at some point. And it was. Now, we thought it'd be a little different when the Jets made that deal, but you get the point. Like, having extra picks in the pipeline, especially high picks like that, that's huge. And look, maybe New Orleans is like, we don't want to trade you any picks this year, but would you take our second next year? I'd say, yeah. You're going to give me a second-round pick? 100%. So, look, it feels unlikely. You never know. There's no, like, rhyme or reason for why certain teams trade certain amounts in deals. Teams have their own version of the trade chart, but sometimes teams are just desperate. And New Orleans now might be a little more desperate without Derek Carr. That's how I look at it. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Appreciate all of you tuned in to a little bit of a late night, I guess later than normal weekend show that we're doing. Not doing a show tomorrow, so I had to squeeze in a show today. At least I don't plan on doing a show tomorrow, but we know how this goes. The Jets typically will give us something, and if that's the case, we adjust accordingly. If you're watching live right now, your super chats will cut the line. Your thoughts on the idea of the Jets and the New Orleans Saints swinging some sort of deal for New Orleans to be locked in and get their guy. That's the question. Or is there another team that maybe now emerges? I don't know. I do know this. The draft is just 12 days away, and if you haven't gotten your draft ticket yet, please do so before we sell out. Also, the Asmaniac Raffle will be Monday morning. We're giving away a signed Joe Namath helmet, a signed Curtis Martin helmet, a signed Joe Klecko football, and a signed Wayne Corbett football. Our theme is retired Jet numbers. For this show only, 10 gifted memberships, you actually get 12 raffle entries. If you get 5, you actually get 7 for this show only, and $10 super chats will count for 2 raffle entries. Plus, we will boost $20 super chats, and we will boost $50 super chats as well, as it's the last show before our 22nd Asmaniac Raffle. Thanks again to everyone who supports this channel. And again, if you were at that Badlands event last night, met a bunch of subscribers, great to be out and about with so many awesome Jet fans. This fan base is special, and it'd be nice if the Jets could actually give us a year. I said this to someone last night. 9-8 would feel like the Super Bowl with how bad it's been. We're not asking for much. I mean, good Lord. 9-8. That's all we're asking for. Oof. All right, here we go. John writes in, Saints have to go quarterback this draft and maybe next. I mean, they definitely need a quarterback. They have an offensive coach. The question is Kellen Moore, their new head coach, like Shedeur Sanders or Jackson Dart? They have a lot of draft picks. I mean, we went through it. I mean, they got 4 picks in the top 93. They got 2 fourth-round picks. Yeah, their roster is not great. So we'll see, if they're going to make that move. Oscar says, thank you for the show, Jake. Well, Oscar, you're welcome. Black Gypsy writes in, 8-9 is Fields best as it is. The question I have for you guys and Jake is, how do we make Fields better? What does he need to do better to maximize his talent? Well, I mean, if you listen to Aaron Glenn, he hasn't been coached right. Now, what does that specifically mean? I mean, to me, I think it's more RPOs. I think it's more quick passes. I think it's, letting him throw downfield a little more. Let him truly play the position, see if he can do it. And look, play calling matters too, right? Scheming guys open. I think LaFleur, for his faults, I think he did a decent job scheming some guys open when he was the Jets OC. Like, sometimes you call a play and it's really not about the quarterback. It's just about the play call is so good, you outsmarted the defense. There's going to be guys open and you or I can make that throw. Tanner Engstrand's so important in that regard. So important. 8-9, I don't think is the ceiling for the Jets, though. I think if you're saying they get the best out of Fields, I think they could win 9 or 10 games. I don't think it's crazy. Mimosa says that Namath helmet is money. Folks, Mimosa is coming to our draft party. Flying all the way up from Florida. Can't wait to have Mimosa in the house. It's going to be a who's who of Asmaniacs in the building. So it's going to be a great night. I met a bunch of you who bought tickets last night, by the way, to the party. So thank you. Peter Castro is predicting 11-7. Well, that'd be impossible, because that would be more than the allotted games. 10-7, I would take. Brian writes in, do you think the Cowboys are a sleeper for Shador? I don't. I don't think they're going to take a quarterback. I think they could take Genty. Jersey writes in, Jake's show on a Sunday morning in Australia. Who would have thought? I like doing shows at different times when I can, because then you get, different people who maybe can't get the show live. Maybe they can. So if you're a first-time caller who normally can't watch live, but you're in the tri-state area, the weather's crap, and you're staying in tonight, I'm here for you. JM writes in, are you going to have mimosas with Mimosa in the house? I think we have to, right? Michelle says, let's get Mayer from the Raiders. Look, it depends on the cost. I'm not against acquiring him. I know the previous Jets regime really liked him. I don't know what that would entail compensation-wise. Now, I'll tell you what. People have speculated on, the Jets trading for, a veteran tight end. Right? Has it been Dallas Goedert that's been mentioned as an option for the Jets? People have speculated about his future. I don't think they trade for him because of his age. But Mayer's like 6 or 7 years younger, so he's maybe more in play. Apparently, it's a beautiful sunny morning in Australia, so I'm very jealous of Sarah, Craig, Jersey, and all the Australian Jet fans. Dart Stevo writes in, facts, Jake. I'm usually working. Brigga said get a job. He did. Dave Brigga's goal is to make sure every Asmaniac is working. All right? And if you're not working, you better get off your ass.
He thinks that Charles and Bobby need to get a job. This cowboy hates to see Asmaniacs complain. What he call it, one-punch Brigga. You need to get a job. What he call him, one-punch Brigga. The beast is on his ass. Call him one-punch Brigga. Has anyone seen Bean Mac? Call him one-punch Brigga. He'll only need one.
Hell yeah. Dave Brigga for life. By the way, how about this tweet I got the other day? I meant to show this on the show yesterday. This is from Jets On. He tweeted me, only the Asmaniacs would understand Brigga, Gary. Just incredible. Every journey begins with one small step. Achievement. And it's the moon landing on the graphic. Are you kidding me? What are the odds? What are the odds?
He thinks that Gary needs more shots upside his head. This cowboy hates when you don't believe in achievement. Well, they call him one-punch Brigga, the moon landing It's really called a one-punch breaker. His claim is not too dirty. One-punch breaker. Hated jokes is like his ass. One-punch breaker. Does it only mean one?
Love it. Shout out to everyone out there who supports this crazy show. I mean, some of the jokes are so inside, it's like impossible to explain to people. Like, how would I explain the Gary and Dave Briga battle and, like, not take 10 minutes long to explain? Unreal. Ladies and gentlemen, a 5-spot of channel memberships from Mimosa for today only, since it's the last show before our next Tasmaniac raffle. This is actually 7 memberships for Mimosa. 7 raffle entries.
Thank you, Mimosa, for your generosity and tremendous support of the Jake Asman Show.
Mr. Finisher, Jay Sylvester, Big Rush 2112, Whitney Gilmore, and Hotel Vice, all receiving a channel membership from Mimosa. Oh, wait, Mimosa. Not only is she coming to the draft party, but she's making it rain already. Another 5 from Mimosa, which today is 7 entries for Mimosa. Aaron Vargas, Who Dat Fam, Mackenzie Bates, Darren Polarodi, and JR, all receiving channel memberships. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Christopher writes in, Jake, you're fantastic, my brother. Love your channel. Thank you, Christopher. Should we sign Zadarius Smith, Tyler Boyd, Quentin Jefferson, etc. in free agency? Tyler Boyd intrigues me. The guy I want the Jets to sign is a different Tyler. I want Tyler Lockett on this team as a veteran pass catcher. Now, do I think the Jets are going to sign him? No, I don't. But do I think they should sign him or Amari Cooper or Keenan Allen? Yeah, I do. We're talking about unlocking Justin Fields. Can we get another reliable pass catcher? That's what I'm saying. I don't think we have enough. Rick Kent with an Asmaniac super chat. I'm bummed that I won't be at the draft party, but at least I'll be hanging out in LA with Craig and Addison. Hell yeah. And how about this? As I read that, I see Rick Kent gifted 5 channel memberships.
Yeah, here we come, baby. Here we come. Here come the Jets, baby.
For today only, it's 7 memberships, or excuse me, I can't speak. 7 raffle entries. Boosting it today. Last show before the raffle Monday morning. Jay Savage, NC Green, David Alila, Andrew Calderon, and Smiley GOE, all receiving channel memberships. Thank you very much, Rick. Jet Nation says, why are you so against trading Brees, Sauce, Garrett, or Q? Aren't you sick of losing and maybe these guys just don't have it / fit together? Because if you've watched the Jets, you can't tell me they're the problem. They're good players. How are you replacing them is my thing. Now, look, to me, Brees is separate than Sauce and Garrett and Quinnen because it's a positional thing with Brees. He's a running back. And he's coming off a down year. And to this point, he hasn't been what we thought he'd be, but that doesn't mean he won't. Let's see it this year before we trade him when his value's at an all-time low. What are you getting for Brees? Jet Nation, I'll tell you what, I would trade Brees off. I got a second-round pick because it's a loaded running back class. I'll take my chance. I don't see the value there with Brees. It doesn't make sense to me. So I'm good. Now, as far as trading Sauce or Garrett or Quinnen, no. Are you nuts? Like, I don't have to explain myself. Yeah, this comment here from Rico is spot on. People say, aren't you sick of losing? And then want to trade guys that actually have helped us win games. Or actually want to trade guys that actually, 1, want to be here, and 2, with better coaching, I think could be a part of a turnaround. I'm not like, I don't blame Sauce or Garrett or Quinn. Like they're not the reason why this team has been dog crap. They're not. Are they perfect players? No. But here's the thing. If you get rid of these players, right, people think you could easily just replace them. You have no idea. We don't even know how Darren Muji is at drafting players yet. We have no clue. And if you trade like Garrett Wilson, where are you finding a better receiver than Garrett Wilson? Okay, maybe he's not a top 5 receiver in the league, but you know what? He's good enough to be paid on a second contract, and he can help you win a lot of games. He's already helped the Jets win games with his individual greatness. Remember that game against the Texans last year? Remember the game against the Browns his rookie year? Remember week 1 against Buffalo in 2023? The catch he made on that dog shit throw by Zach Wilson? Garrett's a star, man. Like, you got to pay these guys. You want to keep them. And the thing is, if you don't pay them, then you're going to end up trying to overcompensate in free agency, giving out bad deals. And that's how you get stuck with Le'Veon Bell and Tremaine Johnson. Because you're still going to spend the money elsewhere. You're still going to hit the money for your cap. So how are you better off in that scenario? That's the thing I don't understand. Rick Kent in the raffle 4-5.
Get your ass off my super chats. Some of these are gifted memberships too.
Hey.
The hell with it.
I mean, come on now. Who's better than Rick Kent? 7 raffle entries for our guy Rick. He gifted 5 memberships, and 5 more people are now channel members. Just a guy. Will Monahan, Jordan, Matthew Lloyd, and Vito. And shout out to Will Monahan. I was with him in London. One of the few Americans that made the trip. It was mostly the UK fans that came to all the events. I was blown away by the following. Rick Kent, who better than Rick? 7 entries in our raffle today. J-Quest writes in, I want to thank Nate for blocking the rain as he gave me a ride to the Badlands event. Apparently, Nate was giving rides out to everyone last night, if you know what I mean. On his bike, of course. Kyle writes in, I'm just going to say I'm excited for this coaching staff, this offense, Fields, and this 3-headed running back room. The draft, too. Good picks coming. Kyle, from your lips to God's ears. Connor Long with a Asmaniac super chat. Connor will be at our draft party. Hey, Jake, do you think Lazard's pay cut means he could be traded? I definitely think so. Lowered cap number makes him so much more valuable in the market. 100%. Now, I'll say this. If Lazard is on the team as like your 4th receiver at that money, fine. I just think they should move on. I don't think he's good. Like, I just want to, if we're wiping the slate clean from like all the Aaron Rodgers association with everyone else, we're going to keep Alan Lazard. I mean, come on. Jared says, whoa, I thought you weren't going live today. Well, I changed my mind. The plan was to do 4 hours on Sirius XM Mad Dog Radio and then not go live, but then I saw the weather. It's like, what else am I doing right now? We got things to talk about, people. Our draft parties is in 12 days. Sarah says, too many goats will be at this draft party. That's it. I'm coming. Sarah's coming from Australia. Sarah, if you make it here, I'd be happy to comp your ticket. You wouldn't be the only Australian in the house. Australian Jet fan is supposedly coming as well. Now, he's living in Finland right now. But apparently he's going to be there. Beast Breaker just wrote in, I just dusted. Beast, thank you for letting us know. Now, Beast, I received something yesterday from a listener named Daz, who's a big fan of yours. What do you think of this cartoon graphic he made of you? I think it looks pretty good.
Beast Breaker.
You one sick bastard. You're sick, Daz. You are a sick man. You have no respect for animals, your cruelty. You know what? If I show this pic right now to the Animal Society, you should be locked up and put behind bars, you lowlife. I got nothing to say to you. You're a loser. 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 No. I want nothing to do with you. You're a loser. You're nothing. You've already lit a fire under my ass. Now you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay for it big time. You don't want none of me, kid. Believe me. Yeah, Don't best friend me. Don't bullshit me. I don't trust you at all. You lie through your teeth. I know your tricks. I'm not gonna trust you. I don't like you, and I'm watching every move you make. Now it's war. This is war. You want to fight? Bring your pussy ass on here and put your panties on and get in the ring with me, because I'm gonna take you out.
Breaker 666. He's the man who would kick your ass, and then he'd gobble.
I think Beast liked the image. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. We're talking about the Derek Carr situation. Are the Saints desperate enough to get a quarterback at all costs? Could the Jets do what they did last year? Basically move back a spot. In this case, it'd be 2 spots for a team just trying to secure their QB. Because I do think Shedeur Sanders makes it to 7 now. I do. I don't think he's going to Cleveland. I don't think he's going to the Giants. New England's not going quarterback. Jacksonville's not going quarterback. I don't think the Raiders are going quarterback after they just extended Geno. And I don't think the Jets are taking Shedeur at 7. I don't. I'd be really, really surprised. Shocked even. Not after what they've said about Fields. No way. Thunderlips writes in, Beast, why don't you make like a trade and get out of here? Thunderlips, thanks for the super chat. Comments, questions, super chats. They will cut the line. Appreciate all of you. If you missed it, $10 super chats count today for the raffle. You get 2 entries. 20, you get 7. 50, you get 12. Everything's boosted today. Final show before the Asmaniac raffle. Jake Quest writes in, Jake, when are we having the Asmaniac Combine flag football game? We need something for May. I can tell you I'm working on something for late June. I had a preliminary call with the New York Yankees yesterday. We're working on an Asmaniac Yankee outing. The owner of Billy's is a big Asmaniac, so we would have a pregame hangout at Billy's for those of you who can make that, and then we'd all sit in pretty good seats for what I think is a really good price for a game in June. It will be cheaper than the Knicks meetup, that's for sure. So way more affordable for families. And it's late enough in the year where school should be out. So hopefully a lot of people could take their family to the Asmaniac at the Ballpark event. Stay tuned. Alan writes in, Columbia College in Chicago has a 95% acceptance rate. Well, you know they accepted the Beast. Indy wants to know, hey, Jake, are you having a draft party? I'm not. Yeah, I can't do it. Psych. See you there, Indy. Can't wait. Snowball says, school ends on the 27th of June. Well, you're in luck, Snowball. Because this event would be the 28th to the 29th. As I told you last night, so you know. Thunderlips with a super chat. Shoot, add my other $5 super chat for this raffle. Missed the tourney. Go Jets. I will allow this, Thunderlips, because you're a good man. Anthony in the house. $20 super chat. 7 raffle entries with this. Jake, I will be there at the Yankees game. Love it, Anthony. Can't wait to meet you. And Roe coming to the draft party. That'll be great. Speaking of the Yankees, nice win today. I'm going tomorrow, so hopefully it doesn't rain. It's not supposed to rain. It's like in the mid-50s. I'm like, all right, I'll go. Comments, questions, super chats. Let's start taking your calls now. Load up your calls on the Gustbuster hotline. Kyle Clifton will start us off today. What's up, Kyle?
What's going on, Jake?
Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday to you. I regret to inform you that I was one of the 5% that didn't make it into Columbia in Chicago. You know, I understand it, though. I was trying to get into the ultra-competitive television and radio program. It was a little disappointing. As far as the the trade back goes, there's always teams that are lurking. Well, we saw this last year where the Falcons seemingly came out of nowhere with Penix, right? Like maybe, like I know you poo-pooed the Dolphins, and it doesn't make sense for them to trade with us, but I think that they might be eyeing life after Tua, especially if the coach is going out the door after this year. Also, would you be comfortable paying Brock Purdy top quarterback money if you were San Francisco and you thought that you could get a system quarterback that could fit? Those are the only two that came up between us and Seattle, who you mentioned. I think I've mentioned them before on the stream. Between us and Pittsburgh. After I mean, going back any further than Pittsburgh doesn't really make any sense for us. However, just going back to get 1-2 picks, even if they were like a fourth rounder this year, a fourth rounder next year with New Orleans, to me makes a ton of sense, especially if the board falls our way and there's a couple players that we like similarly.
So I don't think the Dolphins, no way. Especially
they're not going to trade with us, right?
Yeah, especially with them needing, so many things after what happened last year.
Right.
Some of the teams you mentioned, I guess, are kind of interesting. The Niners are paying Purdy, though. They're not going to let him go for an unknown. I'd be shocked. I don't see that either.
Yeah, I mean, the only one was what we talked about before would be Sam, if he doesn't work out, and like they want to hedge their bets, so to speak. That would really be the only instance between us and Pittsburgh, and really, we have to at least create the illusion of competition if we want to go back, because otherwise the Saints will realize that the player's just going to fall to them.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing. More likely than not, I think the Saints probably stay at 9 and they just take Sanders. But, we've seen crazy things happen. Like, literally, the Jets moved back one spot last year with the team. So it can happen, especially now with – and what helps the Jets is what hurt the Jets a couple of years ago, we thought, when Pittsburgh and New England made that deal draft night. It's, hey, you have Carolina there in their division. Maybe Carolina's trying to stick it to New Orleans somehow.
Yeah, I want more, not one, but probably 2 extra picks. And if we could do it on the cheap, all the better. I appreciate your time, Jake.
Thank you, Kyle. Comment here from Pata. Shake my head, Jake. You sound like a straight-up hater when it comes to Sanders. I say the same thing about Dart. Am I a hater on him? If I don't believe in the talent, I'm not going to pretend like I do. I think Cam Ward is deserving of being the first pick in the draft. And I've been consistent really for months already on this. He's the only quarterback that I personally think is worth taking in the first round. I don't think these guys are good enough. We see quarterbacks bust all the time, and now it's the most overdrafted position. We've heard for months it's not a good quarterback draft, and now all of a sudden I'm supposed to hype these guys up and believe in something I don't think is true? No, I'm not a hater. I'm a realist. I'm not sitting here saying, like, I know for sure that Shador is not going to be a franchise quarterback or Jackson Dart, but if I was betting on it, I don't think it's worth it. I think the Jets should wait till next year. Does that make me a hater, or that makes me, a Jet fan with an opinion? Ladies and gentlemen, the return of BMAC. Bernard Nixon with a $10 super chat. BMAC, you should be saving this for you to go to the strip club, I thought. Jake, who's better, Rodgers or Cousins? Rodgers, I think, is better than Cousins. He was last year. You spent $10 on this, BMAC? Come on. Call in, BMAC. We haven't heard from you in a while. Let's find out the latest in your life. Is your Wi-Fi still dog crap? Probably. But hey, if Beast could figure out how to get a connection that's not terrible, maybe you can too. Ron checks in. He's in the raffle with bonus entries. Now, Jake, did you hear what Nico is doing in Tennessee? Wants more money. Yeah, did I hear? I had to write the guy's pronunciation right there several times, just so I could say it properly when I was hosting on the radio for 4 hours today. Yeah. This, to me, is something that we're going to see a lot more of now in college football until they make rules to prevent something like this from happening. It is the wild, wild west. It really is. It is now the start of this becoming more of a thing if there's not legislation that's put into place to prevent this. we've reached, I believe, an inflection point in the history of college football. We've never seen a holdout before. This guy was making $2.4 million per year as part of his NIL deal. He wanted $4 million. Tennessee called him out, said, no, we're not doing it. So he leaves. But when you hold out in the NFL, if Darrelle Revis holds out with the Jets, he can't get up and leave and go join the Patriots. You can do that in free agency. But in college football, you can just get up and leave. Go in the portal. Go wherever you want. There needs to be rules in place where if you sign a contract, you can't just leave. But the problem is because the NCAA has it where NIL is legal and these kids aren't technically being paid to play, even though that's what's happening with these NIL contracts. Technically, Nico's not doing anything wrong, right? He has an NIL deal. He can get up and leave, not fulfill the responsibilities on this deal, and go somewhere else because he's not under contract by Tennessee to play football because the NCAA refuses to do that. And I think eventually this is going to lead to like a college football commissioner and like they're going to get rid of the NCAA and they're going to have like these super leagues with all the top schools. And it'll be the haves and the have-nots and the little guy that can't afford to pay these players. They're not going to be able to survive. And you're going to have way less Division I programs. That's where this ends. I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm all for players getting paid, but there has to be some guardrails. Like, it's not fair to the rest of the team that this guy can just get up and leave. I did like 3 hours on this today, so I'm very fired up. I got a lot of takes. Took calls on this all day. I mean, if this is how we're going to do college football now, then schools should be able to cut players. There should be buyout numbers attached to every player. There should be a salary cap on money that's available in the transfer portal. You know, honestly, good for Tennessee. This guy, Nico, my understanding is like a good quarterback, but like $4 million a year, like threw 19 touchdowns last year, please. I think Josh Heupel's a really good coach. They'll figure it out. Let's see. Super chat here from Fernando B. Finally watching live. Put me down for the raffle. Thanks for keeping me up while I'm driving my truck from Orlando to Miami overnight. Let's go, Jets. Fernando, shout out to you, man. I've always said this when I've done radio. Shout out to all the people who drive for a living. The mail people, the truck drivers, the delivery people. Even the people on their bikes. Like, they're the lifeline of, like, the radio listener. Love that. Safe driving, Fernando. If you're in Florida, if we do a Florida meetup next year for one of the Jet games there, hopefully you can make it. Alan says, funny that Nico boycotted the day before spring practice. Well, it was on purpose. He put pressure on the school to try and pay him because next week the spring transfer portal opens, April 16th. Black Gypsy writes in, ain't nobody scared of you, Beast. You're soft and pudgy. Stop abusing hamsters. Couple things here. Beast is a fantastic guinea pig father. So you watch your mouth, Black Gypsy. All right? Little Joey's in great hands with Beast. All right? Now, I haven't met Little Joey, but trust me. Anyway, comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Get in the raffle. If you want in, last chance to do it. Last show to do it. We're giving away an epic grand prize. Joe Namath signed Super Bowl III helmet. The display case you see on the screen is included. With the engraving, it says Joe. If you can't see it because it's the print small, it says Joe Namath, number 12. New York Jets quarterback, Super Bowl III MVP. On the left, you got the Super Bowl III logo. On the right, you got the Jets logo. That's our top prize. Followed by a signed Curtis Martin helmet, a signed Joe Klecko football, and a signed Wayne Corbett helmet. Or football, excuse me. So 2 footballs. We haven't done a ton of football giveaways. So we're switching that up for this week. Super chats. Party with Peg and Artie. If Peg wins the name and helmet, it's 50% mine. I love it. Well, Gary might not like that, but I hope you guys win. Party with Peg and Artie. Bo with a super chat. The NFL should safeguard collegiate moves like this. If they are threatened and ineligible for 1 year, they wouldn't have negotiating power. I don't know how you stop it. I don't know how the NFL could really get involved that way. Because once again, Nico's not doing anything illegal. He's not being paid by Tennessee. He's paid by an NIL collective. It's the way around paying players. It's like he's not technically being paid by the University of Tennessee. He's being paid by boosters from Tennessee. So the NCAA could say, we're not paying players to play. We're just letting them profit off their NIL. It's a total sham. Like if Micah Parsons holds out from the Cowboys, he can't leave and join the Niners. They have his rights. Let me read you Reese Davis's tweet on this. I thought he had a pretty good take earlier. I mean, to me, it's a huge story. Like this is the beginning of the end of college football if we're not there already. Like they have to change things. In the pros, guys hold out, teams release players. College sports needs the framework under which if Nico holds out, Tennessee still holds his rights if he's under contract. If they come to terms with his new school, they allow him to go and are compensated. Players could negotiate the length of their deal. If they want to bet on themselves and changing market, they sign 1-year deals and see what happens. If they want more certainty, they sign longer deals. This particular case, bad look for Nico due to timing. Hard to blame UT. Yeah, I mean, to do this before the spring game, what a terrible, terrible move. I think this kid's getting some terrible advice. Terrible advice. Thunderlips in the Asmaniac raffle for 7. If Bobby sings happy birthday to me tomorrow in nothing but a sumo diaper, I'll give him $100. I haven't heard from Bobby in a while. He's boycotting the show. Nate writes in. Nate, I'm putting you down for 7 because I don't understand math. And I don't feel like doing math in my head. $22.74 equals 8 raffle. Do you want 8 raffle tickets, Nate? Is that what you want? I'll give you 8. Because to be honest, I didn't even know you could actually send a $22.74 super chat. So for that creativity, and since I saw you last night and you were very nice, and you're coming to the draft party and you support the show, I got you. Great to finally meet Jets Johnny, by the way. I mean, Johnny Boy. I always get Jets Johnny and Johnny Boy confused for obvious reasons. But awesome time last night. Once again, thanks to Joe and Connor for inviting me to their meetup. Doing the segment with them was a lot of fun. Ron Weiss checks in. Curtis Martin was one of my favorite Jets. Name it speaks for itself. I mean, if you're a Jet fan, how did you not love Curtis Martin? Amen, Ron. Janice Jet is in the Asmaniac raffle for 5. Yeah. Let me find these from Janice. Janice, thank you as always for your support. You're actually in the raffle for 7 today. I'm used to saying for 5 when I say things like that. Rick Fisher, Masterful, Miles Hickson, Onana, and Mike Mono, all receiving channel memberships here. Love it. Rover says, Jake is evil. He's making next-gen podcasters podcast instead of enjoying their youth. I'd imagine this is a joke comment. At least I would think. I think it is. I don't know how to respond to this. On that note, we played you the Charles Gorman phone call to my radio show today at the top of the show. Charles was at Friendly's. He enjoyed what I have to imagine was a spectacular meal. It included a cookies and cream ice cream sundae. And it looks like he hasn't passed out from a food coma just yet. So he joins us right now.
Hey, Charles! You'll never get my chicken soup recipe. Hey, Charles! I'm not saying that Lowski takes steroids. I need some of it. Hey, Charles! Who is that lovely lady? Send it this way, Charles!
Hey, Jake, how are you?
How was Friendly's, Charles?
It was awesome, man. It was awesome. I've always been a fan of that place since I was a child.
I like how you went alone. A nice little solo trip to Friendly's.
Well, my brother dropped me off, but it's all good.
Did he come and pick you up?
Yes.
So how come he didn't have lunch with you?
Because he had lunch early before.
So what was he doing? He just didn't want to hang out?
No, he just wanted to go to a church and pray for a bit.
So he dropped you off. you had a nice Friendlies meal. He prayed, and then he picked you up?
Yep,
Sounds like it was a tremendous time.
it was.
Now, who
As
paid for the
this
food?
whole- I did.
Nice job.
As I was gonna say, as for this college football thing, yeah, I learned about it today too, a little while ago on Discord. I don't really know the whole details about it, but it seems pretty interesting. With the whole college football players being able to leave, like that. Of course, if Marco Parsons did that, he obviously would still have his rights would still be owned by the Cowboys. But anyways, trying to think.
You growing the beard out
I'll shave it eventually.
before the draft party?
Most likely, yes.
What do you think your facial hair is going to look like for the draft party? You going to go mustache? You going to go beard? Clean shaven?
I have no idea.
Haven't thought about it?
Nope.
Peter Castro says, Charles, you look somewhat ill. Are you ill?
No, I'm not ill at all. No, I'm just had dinner.
Well, you already had dinner. But you called the radio show today at like 3.
Yeah, well, it's 7:00 now, and
that's a quick turnaround now.
Quick turnaround, yeah, but I'm good.
Were you hungry already from the lunch to the dinner?
I didn't have like a super heavy dinner, but it was super heavy lunch, but it was good.
What did you have for dinner?
Rotisserie chicken and Panera bread, mac and cheese.
That sounds tremendous. What should I get for dinner tonight, Charles?
Well, you're in Long Island, correct?
No.
You're in Australia?
Yes.
Really? Holy shit. I don't know, man. Do what you want to think is best, my friend. Do what you think is best.
Should I have some kangaroo?
My friend Colin, not too long ago, had a kangaroo burger at this place called 30 Burgers. I actually liked it.
You think I should get kangaroo tonight?
I don't know, man. Do what you want to do. PBM says Chick-fil-A.
I'll ask Craig and Sarah where they want to take me.
Tell them I said hi, okay?
I will.
Anyways, I wanted to talk to you about the Jets a little bit more, about the Allen Lazard pay cut. I still think there's a chance they might either cut him or trade him. But the thing is, while he is a good blocker, I'll give him that. He's got terrible hands. Like, I think we can all agree he's got terrible hands. I know he did a pretty decent job last year for the most part, catching passes from Aaron Rodgers. But he drops the ball way too much for my liking. So, you think the Jets should trade him or no?
Well, I don't want him on the team, so I would trade him.
Team either.
And this restructure now makes him very easy to trade. Now,
And
Sarah
as for
says she's never tried kangaroo and never will. Do you think I can convince Sarah tonight at dinner to try kangaroo?
I guess she likes kangaroo, but
She
never
likes
force
hawk,
anyone
actually. Get it?
Yeah, I get it.
You do?
Whatever Sarah wants. If Sarah wants to take you to, do they have an Outback Steakhouse in Australia?
I actually don't think they do. I haven't seen one since I've been down here.
That's interesting. What I was gonna say. As for Michael Mayer, I know he hasn't been used a whole lot with the Raiders, but he is talented. I know he had a great career at Notre Dame for a while. I think he was at Notre Dame, was he? Michael Mayer?
Jeffrey Mayer?
No, I think Michael Mayer, the tight end from the Raiders.
What about Jeffrey?
I know nothing about Jeffrey.
You don't know who Jeffrey Mayer is?
No.
He's the fan in '96 that helped Derek Jeter's home run in Game 1 of the ALCS.
Oh, my God. Against the Orioles, where it was actually fan interference?
It wasn't called fan interference.
I know, but...
Tony Tarasco was not very happy about it.
I know.
Peter Castro wants to know, do you fart a lot when you're alone?
Do I fart a lot when I'm alone? No, I fart in public. I fart when I'm with friends. I fart when I'm walking. So no, I don't fart when I'm alone. No.
Well, Charles, what I have right here is something pretty special. You ready? I have what I want you to hopefully be willing to sign, because I'm getting you a free draft ticket. Charles Gorman, authentic underwear. All right. And I want you to sign this so we can give it away at the draft party.
Jesus Christ.
Are you
Sure
willing to
thing,
sign
Jake.
this?
Wow, that's a pretty big pair of underoos.
It will fit you perfect, but we're going to make sure they're game worn. So before everyone arrives, because you're getting there early with Nick Shine, you'll try this on so we could say it's game worn. All right. Then you'll take this off. You'll sign this, and then we will give it away at the party.
Okay, that's cool.
You're in?
Yes.
You heard that first. I'm so excited I can't speak. You heard it here first, folks. Charles Gorman, game worn, Asmaniac Jake Asman Show undies will be one of our, now I think it's 11 or 12 raffle prizes for this draft party.
11 or 12. Holy crap.
Yeah, you want to hear the list?
Nah, I'll save it for when I get there.
Okay. Well, other people might want to hear the list, so I'm going to give it. All right?
No problem.
Okay, here we go. Signed Sauce jersey. Signed Joe Klecko jersey. Signed Jermaine Johnson jersey. Signed Nick Mango jersey. Signed Garrett Wilson frame photo. Signed Wesley Walker frame photo. Signed Brees Hall trading card. Signed Aaron Glenn trading card. Signed Chad Pennington trading card. 4-pack of tickets to a Yankee game. And multiple pairs of tickets to Jets home games in 2025.
Speaking of the Yankees, they won today, 8-4.
They did.
Devin Williams pitched recovered after giving up a walk and a double.
Are you doing a Bobby Midnight impression right now?
No.
You giving me the scoreboard report?
No, I just wanted to talk about it a little bit, you know. I think he'll be fine, but the thing is, you know, I think he's still getting used to the environment of New York, because as you said before, and you were right on the money, New York is a different animal than Milwaukee and Wisconsin. You know, in Wisconsin, there really is no media in Wisconsin. New York, you know, is a different animal. But I think he'll get used to it. Remember, Edwin Diaz, is he still on the Mets?
He is.
In his first year with the Mets, he struggled, but then after that, he's been fine.
I see.
So, trying to think here. That's all I really want to talk about. Hopefully, the draft goes well. Hopefully, you know, we have a good time with the draft. That's all I want to talk about. Have a good day, Jake.
Do you think we're going to have a good time, Charles?
Yes, I think we will.
I agree. Now, what did you think of this cartoon earlier?
Well, that's a big-ass hamster. Or
It's a guinea pig. Guinea pig.
Well, guinea pigs and hamsters to me look very similar to one another, but
I see.
I guess it's what they eat. I'm making salient points. I think this is kind of offensive to the Beast. Beast told me he was upset in the chat, in the private chat. I hope he feels better.
Charles, you're a good man.
Thank you.
You have a good day, all right?
You too, man.
Hi, I'm Charles, and I'm going to talk about Spider-Man and movies and sports and video games and maybe hot chicks.
Shout out to Charles Gorman, man. One of the greats. Kyle Clifton, who won the Don Maynard signed photo, just gifted a $50 super chat. How about 12 entries in the Asmaniac raffle for Kyle?
It's the Asmaniac membership raffle. For every membership gifted, you receive one ticket entered in the raffle to win epic prizes.
Raffle me. I'm addicted now that I received my signed Maynard photo. It's likely member worn at 7. I'm okay with it. I was going to buy guinea pig pellets with this grant, but the Klecko football would be better. See ya at Clinton Hall, y'all. Kyle, very kind of you. Always appreciate your support. Can't wait. Kyle Clifton, coming to the party. So is this next guy on the line. Purple Belt Mike is up next. What's up, Mike?
Yo, what's up?
How we feeling?
Feeling good. I'm going to see Warfare in a little bit. I'm leaving in like 15 minutes.
Warfare is what? That's a movie?
Yeah, it's a movie. It's a lot of big actors in it. They said it's the best war movie since American Sniper. So
Who's the director?
Excited. I don't know. It's got a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, though. It's got a lot of big name actors in it too. If you look at it,
I'm completely unaware on most movies, so I appreciate the heads up.
yeah, I'll let you know if it's good. But I'm calling it talk UFC since the fights are on. Who do you got?
I mean,
I know you're watching, right?
I don't have it on yet. It's on it's on pay-per-view though, isn't it?
Yeah, well the prelims are on now.
Yeah, it's tonight. Patty's fighting, isn't he?
Yep, he's the co-main event against Chandler. I think Patty's gonna win. I got Diego Lopez to upset Volk for the title.
Really?
I think Yair beats Pitbull.
I got to be honest. I haven't done a ton of look into the card or whatever. I've always
card's awesome.
It's a very good card. I've always liked Patty, but I like Chandler too. I've had Chandler on the show before. I've had him on the radio show, and he's supposed to come on with a Super Bowl week too. Yeah, I saw Chandler fight at the Garden when he lost to what's his name, and
lost to Oliveira.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Oliveira just Chandler made it interesting. Chandler's fights are always fun, even if he doesn't win. So it should be a good fight.
Chandler almost won that fight, but he got greedy when he knocked when he locked Oliveira down.
Yeah, but Oliveira just got back up and just did what
I know.
Oliveira does.
He got greedy. He should have just paced himself, but
yeah, I think
he got rocked.
I think Volk wins though. I do.
I think Diego Lopez is gonna win. 4th round knockout. That's what I got.
All right. Where are they? Are they in Vegas for this card? Where's this card?
Shit, that's a good question. I'm not sure. I think it is Vegas. I think it's at the T-Mobile Arena. I think.
Yeah, I think they're in T-Mobile tonight for 3:14.
Yeah.
I think it's probably Vegas, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I was working during the day, so I was following the Masters and all this other stuff that.
Because I know 3:16, the one in June, is in Newark.
Yeah, and they were in Newark. That's where I saw Rogers.
Oh wait, it is Miami.
Oh, they're
That's right.
Miami.
You said Miami. Yeah, it's Miami because they have all the colored jerseys. They have the pink and blue walkout gear.
Love it.
Yeah, that's right.
I wish they did more fights at the Garden. That was the sickest card ever. That was so much fun. John Jones.
I saw the Diaz Masvidal card at MSG. That was the BMF title, if you remember.
How much was your ticket? That must have been insane.
$5.50 a piece, I think.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's expensive. We've been to a lot of fights though. I've been to Buffalo, Brooklyn, UBS Arena, the Nassau Coliseum, MSG, Newark. I've been to a lot of fights.
You're a fight connoisseur.
I love the fights. It's fun. Anyway, Jets related. So, do you think that if the Saints offer, I wanted to ask you on the radio, but I had to leave. If the Shador is on the board at 7, the Saints give us the 9 and Olave, would you do it to move back 2 spots? But Membu and Warren are already gone.
So I'm getting Olave and what?
The 9th pick.
Why would they trade both those things?
To move up to get Shador.
So 2 spots? You think you're gonna get Olave? Why would they do that?
Well, I figure because Olave's on the last year of his contract and they need quarterback desperate.
Yeah, but they also need someone to catch the passes from the quarterback they're taking.
That's true.
So why would they do that if they could just trade they have 2 third-round picks? If the Jets say, "Hey, we'll give you one of our thirds," you want to move back 2 spots for that? I would.
Yeah, I guess that's true too. We can still take Tet. I think that's the play. If Warren and Membu are gone at 9, you take Tet.
I think they might still both be on the board at 9, which is even more reason to do that deal.
Well, yeah, if they're on, then you take one of them. But if they're not there, then I think you take Tet.
If the Saints offered me pick 93 for a swap, I gain an extra third for moving 2 spots back, and I now have 4 picks in the top 93. I'm in.
Maybe they'll do it.
Olave,
I hope Shador falls just for that.
Yeah, I think he might, but I don't think they would ever move Olave to only move up 2 spots. Olave would be used in a move to go all the way up to number 1. We saw DJ Moore be used in the Panthers trade with the Bears to move up to take Bryce Young.
Yeah, but DJ Moore doesn't have the injury history, and he wasn't on the final year of his deal.
I get it, but my point is Olave is their best weapon. They need him. You can't trade him to only move up 2 spots in the draft for a quarterback that is a huge question mark anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they're dumb enough to do it. I saw it somewhere on Twitter. Someone mentioned it. I was like, oh, maybe. We'll see.
Well, I'll tell you what. You enjoy the fights tonight, Mike, all right?
Yeah, movie first, then the fights.
What a night. Say hi to Mrs. PBM for us.
Will do. Peace, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, Purple Belt Mike. I guess I'll watch UFC tonight. I completely forgot that there was a card tonight. I think Volk wins, though. I know Diego Lopez is legit. I've always liked Patty, but I think Chandler wins. Chandler kind of needs to win, man. Like, as fun as he is to watch, he's got to win some of these fights. Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. Oscar Olave has concussion issues too. He might. I don't know. I wouldn't think you could get him in that trade that Mike proposed. If I'm wrong, great. I would do it. I think it's worth it for the Jets to roll the dice on Olave for a year. He'd instantly be their second best receiver. Instantly. Gator writes in, if somebody doesn't call in, Beast is going to host the next 3 shows. What's up, Beast?
There's a scumbag on here by the name of Little Joey.
Hey.
I know who he is.
Who's
it's
Little
you,
Joey?
Bobby it's you, Bobby Beasley. Expose your face now, because now I'm coming for you. And Black Gypsy, you got a problem with me. I'm going to kick your...
All right, Beast. Calm down. Can't put you on if you can act that way. We got to handle this like men. Take a breath. The guy by the name of Little Joey is just trolling you. He's saying he's Bobby Beasley just to mess with you. I don't even know who Bobby Beasley is. Apparently it's some guy that has been trolling Beast for a while. I can't do it today. I can't. Gator's right. If someone else doesn't call it, I'm done. All right, I already did 4 hours of radio today. It's over. Everyone just take a breath, all right? Leave Beast alone. He's a good man. He's a good soul. A good humanitarian. Leave the man alone. Gator says, where is Beast Therapist? Yeah, Big Phil, are you out there? Come on. God. Shout out to Johnny Boy. Good times last night. Shout out to Nate, J-Quest, Snowball, and Jake. I'm still hurt today. Appreciate you, Johnny. Thanks for the shots. Snowball, you too. They tried to get me to do more, and I said, I got to be responsible. I'm on the radio today at 12. There's nothing worse than being like this show I've done hungover for 4 years. All right. Doing 4 hours of solo radio by yourself, you don't want to be hungover for that. That sucks. But shout out again to everyone I met at the Badlands live show. Finally, I met Johnny in person, but the true OG, Asmaniacs, the people in this photo right here. Nate, J-Quest, Snowball, and Johnny Boy. Each members of the Asmaniac Madness tournament. All right, last chance to get in here. Last chance to get entered in the raffle. Once again, we're giving away the signed Super Bowl III Joe Willie helmet, signed Curtis Martin helmet, signed Klecko autograph football, signed Krebet autograph football as well. Steven NYC, Jake, been a while. Thanks for all you've done. Our hope has to be that someone wants to trade with us to jump in front of the Saints if they want a QB. Steve, hope you're well, man. If you're free in 12 days, come to the draft party with Fireman Ed and I. Gonna be wild, baby. Purple Belt Mike says, add me in again. Mike? Where are you? Where are you, Mike? Unless you mean the raffle. Ladies and gentlemen, a member of our Final Four is on the line. Let's say hello right now to one of the greats. Someone that this audience knows well. He's wearing his traditional bucket hat. And I think me setting it up that way is going to give you quite the curveball. Neil going low ski with the bucket hat. What's up, Neil?
What's up, Jake? How you doing?
How you feeling, Neil? You smoking the cigar indoors because it's raining?
I'm about to crank up my after dinner cigar. I just had a nice dinner. Let me ask you a question. This is like a little crazy. This, if Shedeur Sanders is around number 7, right, Jake? What is Mel Kiper like? Who's the two big guys? Mel Kiper's the big draft guru, right? What does he rank Shedeur Sanders in his top 50, like as a ranking overall pick? Where does he rank him? Because he's supposed to be the genius of the group.
I think Kiper has Shedeur as the second-rated quarterback. He's got Cam.
What about overall? Like,
he's in his top 20. He's in his top 25. I don't have his big board up in front of me. He has him as a top 25 player in the draft.
How about the other big guy? What's his name? The other.
In fact, I think Kiper actually. I'm down. When I think about it, I think Kiper might actually have Shedeur higher than Ward.
Come on, really?
Yeah, I think he's one of the few. I mean, he's not alone in that. It feels like the more prevalent take is that Cam Ward's the better prospect.
Let me tell you something. So from the standpoint of, look, we're putting a lot of stock in Fields. And let's just say Fields ends up not being what we expect, okay? And he ends up a turd like our boy Zachy Poo. Where the hell are we next year? We're not going to get Arch Manning. You're going to have other quarterbacks that are going to be in big demand. We may end up in the same 7, 8, 9, 10 spot, and we may be looking for a franchise quarterback. I mean, look, we're going to go with a tight end here that you never know what you're going to get. You never know what you're going to get with Tyler Warren. He's not a guarantee, super duper weapon. He's a tight end, okay? We're going to get Membu. Bottom line is, maybe it's worth taking a shot with Shedeur. I mean, at least you get him in there, you get him, behind Fields. If Fields ends up sucking 3/4 of the way into the season, and maybe we could bring him in for a spark. If we end up sucking altogether, and Aaron Glenn ends up being a one and done, then maybe you bring Dion to coach next year with his son, something like that. Bring a new spark into the team. I'm just throwing that out there. Like I said,
I get it.
It's not
crazy.
Like so wild, Jake. It's not like a wild take.
No,
I mean, we need a quarterback.
I agree. I think it's unlikely they would do it just based on what they have said about Fields, but it was unlikely that Atlanta was going to take Michael Penix Jr. last year at pick 8 when they gave Kirk Cousins $100 million. So,
right,
the Jets committed the Fields for a year cap wise. So, yeah, I don't think it's the same thing though, Neil, because I don't think this is the quarterback class for that. I think it's more of a conversation if it was last year's class, right? And that's why Atlanta did what they did. They were like, we think Penix is really good.
Listen, this Penix guy, I thought he stunk. I watched him in the Senior Bowl or whatever. He looked like he was getting hurt, and he didn't look at all like a good quarterback to me. And you know what? He saved the Falcons season by Cousins crap in the bed. So, and now they have some hope. You know what I'm saying, Jake? At least if we took Shedeur, we'd have some hope. It's maybe,
I think there's hope with Fields though, Neil. I think that's how
I agree. I'm not saying there's not. I'm just saying, what if? What if he turns into the, he doesn't get to that next level? Because right now,
then they'll tap into the quarterback class in a better QB class in 2026.
I asked somebody about the 26 class of quarterbacks that knows a little bit about college football, because again, I don't know shit. But they said to me, there's not, like, Shedeur Sanders would still be a top 4 quarterback next year. Maybe if he was in the draft next year.
Maybe. We got to also remember this too, and Rick Kent alluded to what I was about to say. They moved off of Aaron Rodgers in part because he's a celebrity quarterback and everything that comes with Rodgers and the attention he brings. So you're going to draft Deion's kid and put him in New York? I like that to me just doesn't jive with what they want to do.
I think that's overrated. If anything, it's going to help him because he has a father that was a professional athlete. I don't know if that's going to be that big a deal. I mean, look, Joe Willie Namath was the most crazy guy ever, and he came to New York.
Yeah, it's a different world now, though.
Social
media wasn't around.
I don't want to make personality the reason we don't take somebody.
I think the reason why they wouldn't take him is he's not as thought of as some of the other guys, and they think Fields is their best option for a year, and then they'll tap into the market next year if he's not, their long-term guy. But I think what we have to remember too, what they have said about Fields is essentially that, like, they don't think he's been coached right. So they're going to try and be the team that can get the best out of him, knowing full well that they could do what the Bills did when the Bills made the playoffs with Tyrod Taylor, ended their 17-year playoff drought, and still were like, that's good, but for us to get to the next level, we need a better quarterback, and they traded up for Josh Allen. I think that could be the Jets' plan. If Fields is like, good, not great, and it's like, we're not sure, we're going to add someone to the room next year, not this year. They're going to give Fields one year to be the guy, and then if he's not the guy, maybe he could start next year as the bridge because he's under contract, and then they're going to add someone to the room. That, to me, is I had to guess what the likely scenario is, how it plays out.
I just can't take year after year after year. If it's not this and we bridge to another quarterback, now we're 3 years out. I'm running out of years. I can't do it anymore.
I get it.
I can't do it anymore. God damn it.
Well, the hope is that they hit on this year and they're in the playoffs and they give us a run.
I get it. Hey, look, I saw some stuff with Fields. I'm steadily turning into a believer with him. I think he'll be fine. I think the defense is going to be great. I don't think, I think our defense is going to be much better with they're going to be much more aggressive. I see good cornerback play, but we'll be fine. I just, like I said, the insurance policy with Fields is nobody. That's the only thing. And like I said, we're in 7 right now. I mean, if he falls back to 7, Shador, and he's supposedly the second best quarterback in the draft, maybe he's the best quarterback. And we never know. Like he said, Jake, it's a crapshoot. Maybe he is the best quarterback in the draft. God forbid, the Saints take him and he turns out to be like the guy on the Commanders and we make a big screw up here. That's the other thing you have to think about, right?
That seems very unlikely that would happen.
All right. I don't know enough about him. I don't know enough about him to say
Neil,
he's great or not great.
Jaden Daniels was the second pick for a reason, and he had the greatest rookie quarterback season ever. He was in the NFC Championship game. So I don't think you have to worry about that with Shador.
That's starting to happen a lot, though, Jake. A lot of these young quarterbacks, C.J. Stroud, this one, that one, they're all coming on.
Yeah, but then you still get Yeah, but for every example of that, you still get Kenny Pickett in 2021 as the only quarterback that was drafted. You still get the entire 2022 quarterback class or 2021. Yeah, I was right. 2022 quarterback class with Zach. No, wait, Zach was drafted in Kenny Pickett was 2020. What year was Zach Wilson drafted? He was drafted in 2021, right? Yeah, that class was trash. Pickett, I got the years confused. Pickett was 22. He stunk. But and that class was the best class ever was supposed to be, and they all stunk 21. So, it's I see your point, and if the Jets believed in Shador Sanders and they took him, we can't sit here and say
what are we going to? Yeah, that's.
But I don't think they believe in him. Like,
what happens? What happens if they're playing the head fake game and they go and take Shador? What's going to happen? Is everybody going to go shit, or are we going to be excited?
I think it would be people that would not like it. I think there's a lot of people saying they don't like it. Yeah.
All right.
I think if it was Cam Ward, it'd be different.
Oh, naturally. But, we're not getting Cam Ward, right, Jake? Unless we mortgage the whole future and, we're not going to get up to number 1, are we?
Even then, I don't know.
Is that a possibility?
No, I don't think it is, and that's why I think they signed Fields. I think if their plan was to try and trade – notice they signed Fields right after all the rumors came out that they checked in with the Titans about the number 1 pick. They checked in because they wanted to say, hey, we probably only have a first-round grade on Cam Ward. Let's find out what it would take to get him. Oh, it's going to cost that? We're good with Fields for a year. We'll reevaluate after a year. Because, this regime doesn't feel like they need to get the guy right away. They know they have a little time.
Right. But I want a guy that – I'd rather take a guy now that could take a year to get polished, and then next year we're going like this rather than wait another year. You know what I mean, Jake? Then it's another year, and then we had to wait for the guy in 26 that we drafted would send – and be good in 27. Now we're another, you know what I'm saying?
Of course. It's a never-ending cycle.
You got to take your shots with these quarterbacks. You got to take your shot.
Well,
that's the only thing.
I think their first shot is Fields. I think they could draft someone on day 2 or day 3 to add to the room. And then I think if it doesn't work out, they'll be aggressive in 2026 to get their quarterback.
All right. Good enough. Adios.
Farewell, Neil.
These goddamn exploding cigars. I gotta go, Jake. I'll call back later. Shit.
I find it funny that Peter Castro was all in on Justin Fields, though. And Neil's just like, I don't know. Maybe we got to take Shador. Castro's like, Fields is going to be great. Castro's all about it.
Weed, this is for you. Oh, shit.
After writing Neil Singh on board. Fields would go 1 in this draft. Peter Castro saying Shador stinks. Unreal. Unreal. All right, what I want to do right now, I want to do something nice for 2 of my listeners. I just received 2 tickets to tomorrow's Yankees game. Very good seats. Weather going to be in the mid-50s. And I got 2 tickets to give away. Here's how I'm going to do it. You got to email me, asmanjake@gmail.com. If you want to go. 2 tickets to 1:30, first pitch tomorrow. Playing the Giants. Not supposed to rain. You got to email me, asmanjake@gmail.com, and I will transfer 2 tickets. All right? Just received this, courtesy of our guy, Chef Nico, who's a huge Asmaniac and works for the Yankees. 2 tickets, Yankee game tomorrow. Got to email me. First come, first serve. Peter Castro says it's supposed to be 5 inches of snow tomorrow. Peter, that is not true. Nice try. Now, it is supposed to rain tomorrow, but I don't think it's supposed to rain during the game. Sunday's low will be 38 between 12A to 1A. High will be 55 between 4 and 5. Temperature will feel like 32 to 48. Wind will make it feel cooler than the actual temperature. It looks like the rain will not be a thing after 7 a.m. tomorrow. Rick Kent still on the Lil Joey conversation. Unreal. What? Francesco just won the tickets. Francesco Vittorini. He was the first person to email me. Sold. They're yours. Done. Don't eat. No one else email me. It's over. It's first come, first serve. I will transfer them to you after the show, Francesco. Congrats to. Are you in the chat? What's your YouTube name? He's obviously watching the show. If you're Francesco Vittorini, right in the chat. Let's see what your YouTube name is so I know who I'm sending them to. All right, we got a couple memberships that were gifted here. I missed this. Paul Taxter for 5. Yeah, let's go, Paul. I think that guy. I know, right? Paul is in the raffle today. It's boosted for this show only. It is actually 7. Paul's 5 memberships went to Steve Gruden, Hulk Smash, my mom. Yikes. Howard Poranto, Lupe Lion 17, and I Own Coin. Bo with a super chat. 2 entries for Bo with this one for today only. I'm highly upset I can't make the draft party. I have thoroughbred horses coming in Tuesday. Please know that I'm there in spirit. Nothing but love for the Asmaniacs and the best host in sports, J.A. Bo. You will be there in spirit, my man. Miss you. Appreciate you. Steven wants to know which Clinton Hall. It's the Clinton Hall on 36th Street, the one by Madison Square Garden, Penn Station. 16 West 36th Street. Jet Nation NYC. That's who won the tickets. How about it? I got you, Jet Nation. Congratulations. All right, we're winding down here. Frank writes in, Jake, pumped for the schedule release as Maniac Tampa Bay Takeover. That's the away game out of the 3 Florida games to go to. So that would be my preference, Frank, for sure. And a couple reasons. One, I've never been to that stadium. It's Florida. I think it's a winnable game for the Jets, too, for what it's worth. 2 or 3, I don't even know what number I'm up to. When I go through my demographics of the most viewed states of listeners who tune into the show, New York is 1, New Jersey is 2, and Florida is 3. So I think a lot of Asmaniacs could make that event, that meetup. Be a great game to do it. So the plan is Tampa. I'd love to do Tampa. I just need to see the schedule, right? I got some dates in the fall where I obviously can't travel. Work complications, weddings, or bachelor parties. So I just have to be available and it has to make sense. But that's the plan. New Orleans also in serious consideration as well. I can tell you after being there for the Super Bowl, it'd be great. All right, one last call before we wrap up here. An OG Jet fan is on the line, and he's one of our favorites. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get close to our screens and say hello to...
I got my Iron UG. I hope you like my Jets take. You know they call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
Hi, Jake.
David, how are you?
I'm good. You have to excuse me. I'm one tall glass of Fireball and some beers into it. So
Nice.
hopefully I don't make a goof out of myself. But you just met. Pardon me?
You would never do such a thing.
I hope. I hope not. But anyway, you just mentioned Tampa, and if the dates align and the stars align, and I if that would happen, I could even get my brother and sister-in-law to, because they're big Tampa fans. But anyway, where are we going with this? We got the foundation. Aaron Glenn, I'm still, I wish, maybe they would have had somebody that's been there and done that as a head coach, but, and we could have potentially a really good draft. But what scares me, Jake, is the coaching.
Well, I'll tell you what. We have to just hope that Aaron Glenn knows what he's doing because we have nothing to base it off of. We know he's qualified for the role, but no one was saying Robert Saleh was not qualified for him being the head coach either, right? He was the top guy in the hiring cycle. So you just never know until you see it. But I do get a good feeling about Glenn for what it's worth, but we don't know. I'm tired of feeling good about something to be burnt again. I just want to see it, man. Like I'm going in, at best cautiously optimistic, I suppose.
Oh my God, we were all in on Robert Saleh. What a hell of a nice guy. And Aaron Glenn, I mean, you got to get a great impression of him or a good impression of him. And, hey, we got to rally behind him and give him a chance.
Absolutely. Now, David, are you going to have more Fireball tonight?
No, I'm done with the Fireball. I might have some, a few more beers and, life is good, Jake.
I love it. You enjoy it, David. You're the man.
Thank you.
I got my Iron UG. I hope you like my Jets take. You know they call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
David T, everyone. Love it. Getting lit. He's more lit than the Asmaniacs that were at the Badlands event last night. Snowball, Johnny, Jay Quest, Nate. Nate was falling off his bike. He was so hammered. Oh, wow. Look at this. Our guy Jorge with 10 channel memberships right as we're about to end the show. He's in the raffle for 12 with our boost for the day.
Money, 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 money.
Hey, shout out to Jorge. He gifted 10 memberships too. Danny, Eb Doggy Dog, Flowing Air Production, John Zelly, Slow Sloth, M Crunk 3, Chris Quigley, El Bupo, Boba Jet, Karen Lowe. All receiving channel memberships. Super chat here from Jets Worldwide, aka Snowball. Jake, according to Nate, we're all taking a city bike tour of Midtown after the draft. Don't fall off Nate's bike. That's all I'm going to say. Big Islander fan checks in. By the way, Snowball, you're in the raffle. I got you. Been a tough few months between the Jets and Islanders. I mean, yeah. As bad as the Islander season was, the Jets season was worse. I lost all my faith in both teams. If Rodgers comes back, I'm rooting for him. I lost it. I mean, I'm going to root for Rodgers, too, when he's not playing with the Jets. I have no ill will towards him. I'd like to see him play well. I think he still could play. I would love it if he went to an NFC team, but I got no ill will towards the guy. It's not his fault. He tried. Fernando wants to know, when's the raffle? Monday morning. Jared, how drunk did everyone get last night? Spill the tea. Oh, people were hammered, man. I won't name any names, but there were some people part of this live show that were out of their mind. Now, me, I had to work today. I had to do 4 hours on radio, so I had like 4 or 5 drinks in me, and I was fine. But I can tell you this, Joe and Connor were not smashed. They were responsible. They were the leaders. Dad says David T is amazing. He's the best. David T is the great guy. Little Joey writes in. Beast and I were huffing glue. Little Joey, you better change that name. Man. All right, that's a show. Make sure you read the sign if you're in New York City, especially you, Gary. Every journey begins with one small step. Achievement. Bino with a super chat. Jacob, I'm in St. Pete for the Tampa Bay game. Meetup would be great. Uh-oh. Jet Nation can't make the Yankee game tomorrow. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to post it in the Discord. That's the only way to do this. He's out. He can't go. I have 2 tickets to the Yankees game tomorrow. I'm going to give it away in the Discord after I get done with this show. Sorry you can't make it, Francesco, but I appreciate your support. Oh, I was about to end, but Mimosa's like, wait a second. I want in the raffle one more time.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Thank you very much, Mimosa. She is in for 5. And you know what? If we have the video made for Mimosa, I got to play it. Because you know what? Mimosa deserves it.
Thank you, Mimosa, for your generosity and tremendous support of the Jake Asman Show.
Brendy Cherry, Alexander Aseri, Joe Like a Boss, Jose Constantino, Josh McMinn, all receiving memberships there from Mimosa as we close out. All right. I think we're all caught up. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Armand members watching the show. I'd love to come to your draft party, but I'm going to be busy getting my name called at pick 7. I think there's a lot of Jet fans who'd be cool with that, Armand. If the Jets pick you, I will certainly be rooting for you. Buy your ticket to the draft party. Armand Membu can't be there at this one, but he's promised to go to future Jake Asman events if the Jets pick him. I'm sure. Links in the description. It's in the live chat. It will be the pinned comment. Again, thank you all. Most likely not doing a show tomorrow, which is why I did a late Saturday show after radio. If you're on the Discord, giveaway coming up soon. Thank you again for all your support. My name is Jake Asman. This has been a enthralling rendition of the Jake Asman Show. I'll talk to you guys soon. Go Jets, everybody. Nate writes in, who spits on the mics the most during your time at WFAN?
Oh my! What kind of question is that? I won't get into. I'm gonna leave that. I probably did a number of times.
Is that in the book, the Joe B book one day on your radio? And
there'll never be a book. There'll never be a book. Never. They'd have to pay me a shitload of money. They'd have to pay me a minimum 6-figure retainer for me to even consider doing a book. Minimum.
It'd be an amazing read, Joe, because your memory is encyclopedic. Like, you could talk about stories growing up in the 60s. Like, the story you told on this show about going to the Jets-Chiefs playoff game in 1969 is like the details you remember from that. It's astonishing.
Yeah. No, I'll never forget that game. That was kind of the beginning of the end. And it's like, 55 years ago now. Are you kidding? Oh, that game was, man, I'll tell you. I told you the story. I'm begging my mother, this guy in my class, because the game was blacked out. You couldn't see it in New York, right? This was the days of the blackout. What a joke that was, okay? So I'm begging my mother, I got to see this game. And my team's in the playoffs. I got to see it, right? It was a Saturday afternoon game, too. And my mother came through. There was a guy in my class. I was a junior in high school, and he was selling his tickets. And my mother came and said, "Look, I don't have to have anything else for Christmas. This is what I want." Bought the tickets. I think they were about $20 a piece. Could you imagine that? Had seats down in the end zone below. It was brutal. He called. Let me tell you, it was brutal, windy, cold, and Namath had a terrible game. 14 for 40 that day. He threw 3 interceptions. They had a first. They were down 6-3. They had a first and goal on the 1-yard line, and they couldn't put it in. They wound up kicking a field goal, right? And this Chief team, by the way, was one of the great defensive teams of all time. They had 6 Hall of Famers on the defense. And I'll never forget watching the biggest play of the game after they stop us on the goal line. Len Dawson hits the great Otis Taylor, who should be in the Hall of Fame, for about a 50-yard pass right down the middle. And then 2 plays later, I believe it was Gloucester Richardson catches what turned out to be the game-winning touchdown pass. We're down 13-6. We're getting the ball back late in the game, about a minute something to go. We're getting a good field position as they punt to us. And we had this guy, Mike Battle, who had a big punt return for a touchdown in that exhibition game against the Giants. When we played the Giants after we won the Super Bowl and we beat them, it was like a regular season game. We had to win for a preseason game. Killed them 37-14. Battle had an interception return and a touchdown for a touchdown in that game. He fumbles this punt, and Kansas City recovers it, and the game was over. And I'll never forget, man, you talk about being bummed out. But little did I know, this was only the beginning of me being bummed out. Who knew? Like, this was like a good thing. We actually lost the divisional playoff game. What? Come on. So
and then what? You got on the subway and then
got in the subway, right?
Yeah.
And I don't forget, some guy was drunk, and he was on the subway next to us, and he goes, he doesn't remember anything about the game, and he says, "Did we win?" And the guy says, "You don't want to know." I remember the guy was like sober that was with him, like, "You don't want to know." I'll never forget that.
That's why you could write a book, Joe. These stories are it's from 1969. You told it like it happened 2 days ago.
Oh man, I'll never forget that. And then let me tell you this story too. On the same day, I get home that night. It's a Saturday, and I got a phone call at home. Remember, I'm a junior in high school, so my testosterone level is through the roof, and I'm all like, I'm all like bummed out. The Jets just. I get a phone call from this girl who wanted to go out with me, who I wanted no part of, and I remember that night. And I had to be like nice about it. I mean, I didn't want to see this girl, and I didn't. By the way, I just want you to know. So I made a few mistakes like that. Did I ever tell you while we're rolling here, we're telling Beningo's life story here? Almost time. I've been on here for an hour. I got to go to ShopRite in a minute and shopping. But let me just tell you this. So I was a freshman in college, right? And I used to go to this place called the Marshmallow up here in New City, New York, to go. I could still dance. I still, as you know, I still got.
You still got it.
Yeah. Still got Travolta-esque moves. So anyway. So we used to go dancing every Friday and Saturday night. This is in the summer after I was home from college. And this girl, we met her at this place at the Marshmallow. Nice girl, Italian girl, nice, not bad, but not great look. She wasn't great. I really didn't want to, do anything with her. And she has tickets for me to see the Rolling Stones at the Garden. Wait a minute. And this is the heyday. Forget the Rolling Stones now. Everybody's 1,000 years old. Keith and Mick, I don't know how they're still alive. But anyway. This is the heyday. This is like 1972, right?
Wow.
The Stones are at the height of their freaking power, And this girl invites me to go to. She got tickets for the Stones. She wants me to go to the Stone concert with her. And you talk about dumb decisions. I said I didn't go because I wasn't crazy about this girl. And as I look back, 50 plus years ago, whatever the hell it was, it's one of the dumbest decisions I ever made that I didn't go to that concert and that I didn't. Probably have sex with her too. I probably should have done that too. you know. So it was kind of like a double whammy, you know. But anyway, that was, you know, what can I tell you?
1972, the Rolling Stones.
I'll never forget that.
That's a legendary concert. I mean, you'd be
wow. Bro, let me tell you, I so regret, and I've never seen them, right? And I so regret not going to that concert. Oh my God.